All right, let's talk about something we all see every single day. Those branded work trucks driving all over town. You know, the plumbers, the electricians, the roofers, they're just part of the scenery. But have you ever really stopped to wonder what makes one of those businesses good and what makes another one great? The kind that seems to be absolutely everywhere, just growing and growing?
Well, behind every logo on the side of a van, there's a story. And more importantly, there's a strategy. So today, we're going to pull back the curtain on one of these companies to see if we can find a blueprint, a model that doesn't just work in one small town, but could actually work on a national scale. We're going to break down their success.
And believe it or not, it all starts with this number, 76. Now, by itself, it doesn't mean a whole lot. But for our story, this is the trigger. It's the clue from the outside world that tells us, hey, pay attention. This company, SRS Roofing, is doing something really, really right.
So what's the big deal with number 76? Well, that's their rank. They were named one of the top 100 private companies in their home county by Business Pulse magazine. Now, that's not just a nice little trophy for the office. That is a hard, verifiable sign that this is a healthy, growing business. And that leads us to the big question we're going to tackle.
So how did they do it? I mean, it's one thing to see the ranking on a piece of paper, but it's a completely different thing to understand how they actually built the machine that got them there. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to break their strategy down into a clear, simple blueprint that, honestly, any business could learn a thing or two from.
So here's our game plan. We'll start with that sign of success we just talked about. Then we'll dive into how they totally master their craft. From there, it's all about the people and the power behind the scenes. Then we'll look at how they built a real local brand. And finally, we'll tie it all together into that blueprint for growth. Sound good? Let's jump in.
Okay, first up, that official recognition. We're starting here for a reason. This isn't just some story we're telling based on what we think we see. This is grounded in a real, verified accomplishment. And that really sets the stage for everything else we're about to uncover.
You know what's really telling is how the company itself talked about this award. They said it represents the hard work, dedication, and commitment of our entire team. See that? Right out of the gate, their focus isn't just on the shiny award, it's on the people who made it happen. That's a huge clue right there.
All right, that brings us to section 2, and this is so important, mastering the craft. This is the bedrock, the absolute foundation of everything. Before you can be a great business, you have to be amazing at what you actually do. If you're a roofer, that means you'd better be one of the best roofers around, period.
And this visual just says it all, doesn't it? Over on the left, you've got a classic house. That's the bread and butter for so many local contractors. But then, look at the right, a gigantic commercial project. Being able to deliver top-notch work at both of those scales, that shows a whole other level of expertise. It's not just about doing one thing well, it's about mastering the entire craft.
And you know, true mastery goes even deeper than just size. It's about specialization. A metal roof like this one, that takes a totally different skill set, different tools, a different kind of knowledge than your standard shingle job. When a company can offer and crush these kinds of specialized services, that's what really makes them stand out from the crowd.
Okay, so you're a master of your craft. Fantastic. Now what? Well, you need the engine to actually deliver that craft to your customers. And this next part is all about that engine, the people who do the work and the tools you give them to succeed. And here they are. The team. Let's be real. A service business is absolutely nothing without its people. Building a crew that's not only skilled but dedicated and works together like a well-oiled machine, that's the whole ballgame. These are the folks who represent the company, day in and day out.
But a great team, it's built from great individuals. It really boils down to this image right here. One person, focused, with a tool in their hand, making sure their part of the job is done perfectly. That commitment to individual quality is the single most important building block.
And then you take that individual skill and you amplify it. You bring the team together and you give them superpowers with the right equipment. Look at this. They aren't just up there with hand tools. They've invested in heavy machinery to do the job better, faster, and safer. You take your people's talent and you multiply it with technology.
And that investment has to be constant. It's not a one-time thing. Here are their trucks at a local service center. You know, a clean, modern fleet of vehicles isn't just for show. It's a huge, visible sign of a healthy business, one that takes the money it earns and puts it right back into making itself better. That means more reliability and more efficiency for the customer. So, let's recap. You've got an amazing team doing incredible work. But how does anyone find out about you? This leads us to the next critical piece of the puzzle, building a local brand that lives and breathes even when your crews have gone home for the day.
So this is the million-dollar question, right? How do you go from being a roofer to being the roofer, the one that people in your town think of first? How do you actually become part of the local community's DNA?
Well, you do stuff like this. I mean, come on, how awesome is this? They sponsored a local demolition derby and gave away a free roof. It's so unexpected, it's fun, it's memorable, and it puts their name right in the middle of a huge community event. And that's not an ad, that's creating an experience.
And then you do this. You become part of the everyday local scene. Here's their truck parked right outside Big Stick Barbecue, another local business. The message here is subtle, but it's so powerful. It says, we don't just work here, we live here. We're your neighbors. It builds this web of local identity and support.
Okay, it's time to bring it all home. We've looked at all the pieces, the outside recognition, mastering the work, empowering the team, and connecting with the community. Now let's put it all together and see what the finished blueprint looks like.
And here it is, the secret sauce boiled down. The blueprint is a model built on 3 core pillars. First, mastered craft. Just be ridiculously good at what you do. Second, empowered team. Invest everything you can in your people and your tools. And third, community connection. Weave your business into the fabric of your town.
But the real question is, does this blueprint actually work? Can you scale it? Oh yeah, the proof is right here. They started with those local roots in Whatcom County, Washington, and that model has been so effective, they've been able to copy and paste it across the entire country, opening up shop from Spokane to Raleigh, North Carolina, all the way to Cleveland, Ohio. That's just incredible growth. So if you're watching this and you run a local business, or maybe you're just thinking about it, what are the big takeaways? It's really these 4 things. 1, master your core service until nobody can touch you. 2, pull your profits back into your team and your gear. 3, build a brand that people see everywhere and that feels real. And 4, get out there and actually engage with the community you're trying to serve.
So I'll leave you with this final thought. We just took apart how one local roofing company built a model that could go national. It really makes you think, doesn't it? What's the untapped potential hidden in the local businesses in your own community, the ones you drive by every day? How many of them are sitting on a gold mine, just waiting for the right blueprint?